All right, ready to go?
Yep.
All right, sounds good. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Today I am speaking with the head football coach at the University of Indianapolis, Coach Chris Keevers. Coach, how's it going?
Good. Really good. Happy to be here.
Good. Good. Well, I'm glad you're here, man. We're going to jump right into it, but first, I'd love for you to give everyone kind of an idea of who you are as a coach, kind of give your coaching background, anything that you'd like to share personally about you and your experience as a coach.
Well, this is my 37th year of coaching college football. I looked like you when I started. Uh, so I got bad news for you. It's what you're going to end up looking like.
I know. I'm waiting. I know. I'm fully aware of that.
So, you know, started out in Division One. I played at Purdue. I coached at Purdue. Uh, had a rough experience. Didn't win a lot of ball games. And then end up at a Division II school in California called St. Mary's College, California, just over the Oakland Hills, and really loved Division II football. Like the administrators, like the coaches, loved the players. I'm still friends with many of the players, and I hadn't been there in 30 something years. So really enjoyed my experience, and then and had an opportunity to come to the University of Indianapolis. Joe Polizzi hired me here, and I started April 11th, 1994. I was the assistant track coach. I was the assistant football coach, did a little admissions work. Um, so, had a lot of hats back then and kind of worked my way up. And, the job just kept getting better and the program kept getting better. And Bob Bartolomeo came in and really, put our program on the map. And I learned a lot how to do things and just really, he's big time coach and had been in some great places. And so I, really just latched on to him and learned everything I could. And so now this will be my 7th year as a head coach. And, we've won 4 out of the last 5 GLVC championships. We've been to playoffs. In the last 13 years with Bob and I, we've won 10 championships. 13 years we've gone to playoffs. Really 9 times out of 13. The 10th time it was a COVID. We didn't get to go to the playoffs, but we had a playoff. We had a playoff that we won in our conference. It was a very
Yep.
short playoff. But
Yep.
so I had some success. Really excited about where we're going here at the University of Indianapolis. Just hired a new AD in December, Kim Pate, and with her leadership, I'm very excited to see where we're going. I mean, she's pretty dynamic and energetic and positive, and she's we're going in the right direction. So
Yeah.
pretty excited about our place.
Awesome. Yeah. No, kind of going off of that. You mentioned that you grew up in Indianapolis. You went to school at Purdue. You've been at the University of Indianapolis since 1994. For someone like me who's an Omaha, Nebraska native who isn't necessarily familiar with the Hoosier State, I've been here for a few months now playing with the Fishers Freight. But as someone who isn't very familiar, as I guess with the University of Indianapolis, how would you describe the university and the football program?
It's you're going to get a quality private school education here at the University of Indianapolis. I mean, you're going to get it's over with grad school. It's about 5,000 students. It's good campus life. We've got a lot of on-campus housing, apartments, dorms. I mean, it's both my boys go to school here. I'm sold on the education. My oldest son, I mean, my oldest one that's here. I have 3 sons. My middle son is finishing up his MBA here, and will finish his last year. He plays offensive guard for us. And then I have my youngest son will be a senior this year. Both in business, both have really I think are getting a quality education and going to make some money in this world and get out of my pocket.
Sure.
But it's there's a reason why I've stayed for all these years. I just think I think you can get a quality private school education. There's so many fields of study, and I see our guys graduate and get jobs, and we've got people that graduated in 14 and just 10 years ago that are making Tyler Peterman Heating and Air Conditioning. You've heard that. You've probably heard those commercials. I mean, that guy
Yep.
played for us at 14. I mean, so guys are getting great educations. Guys are graduating, making money. We win a lot. Great support for athletics from our president and our administration. Good campus life. So I really love this place. It has a special place in my heart. And, I said, I always tell people when I'm recruiting, my sons are here.
Mhm.
That tells you all you need to know. It's
Exactly.
special.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So before I get into anything else, you mentioned that your son played guard for you. What is that dynamic like? Because when you look at high school, there's a lot of times where either the head coach or the assistant coach will have a son on the team. You don't usually see that in college. What is that dynamic
Uh,
like?
we're very fortunate because I'm on the other side of the ball.
Yep.
I coach linebackers. He's
Mhm.
on offense, so I don't have, there's not a whole lot. He's in the team meetings.
Yeah.
I coach him on special teams, but I don't, he's on the other side of the ball, so I don't really
Yeah.
have, and everybody likes him because he gets treated like everybody else. I
For
don't,
sure. For sure.
everybody, and that's, he does, he does a good job. He's a not a big ego guy, and that has to be. So it's been wonderful for me because my daughter's in Tampa with my granddaughter, and then my oldest son's in Fort Wayne. It's special getting to spend these 5 years with him, just seeing him
Mhm.
every day and
Yeah.
dapping him up in the stretch line, and just him being around makes me happy because I know you educate kids and they go away, and that's
Mhm.
unfortunate, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
so it's been a great experience. Sometimes hard. You know, but I'm treating him the same as everybody else, and the kids see that, and that's why everybody likes him. He
Yeah.
doesn't get any special treatment. But it's been wonderful getting to spend time with him. So
Yeah, yeah. Like when I think about, because my dad was my he was my youth football coach. I mean, ever
yeah,
since when I was 8 years old up until I went off into high school. He was my coach, and I always treasured those. I always treasure those years, and I think those were some of the most fun years of my playing career, just because I was with my dad all the time. So I think when you get into college football, it starts becoming more of a business. It's not necessarily a job per se, but there are real implications to whether, to how you perform. And I think, if just putting myself in his shoes, I think it'd be really cool to have my dad there with me as a college offensive lineman, just being able to share in those moments with him.
yeah.
So that's a super cool experience.
Winning championships he graduated last spring, and just those are things you're
For
never gonna
sure.
forget and
For sure.
cherish the moments.
For sure. Let's get into your guys' 2025 season. Looking at your schedule, you guys open up with a week zero matchup against crosstown rival Marion. Um, you guys haven't played since 2016, right?
Yeah,
Is that correct?
that's correct. So
Uh,
we haven't
So
played them. We put this together. Ted Karras, their head coach, and I played against each other in college. He was a Northwestern defensive lineman, so
okay,
we're
all
both
right,
defensive linemen. So we didn't play against each other, but we're I think we're a year apart. I think he's a year older than I am. So I've known Ted. I like Ted, and then we put this thing together. Ted was not the coach when we played last time. Put it together last in up in Charlotte at the coaches convention, and I think it's good. It brings some energy. We're always fighting for press in the Indianapolis Star, and with Colts and the Fever, and so we're always starving for to get press, to get recognition. I mean, so I think it's healthy for both programs. I think it's it'll be we're going to get a great crowd. I would recommend that you buy your tickets now. They're on sale now because I think it's going to be a very hard ticket when it comes around. The venue, is a nice venue over at Marion, but it's, it's not super, I mean, I think we could probably hold about 8,000 and 10,000, and we're going to get that. I mean, everybody's excited on both sides. Our campus and our administration is jacked up. I know theirs are too. Their sports information guy played for me a couple of years
Okay.
back. I mean,
All right.
so there's a lot of the,
Yeah.
my son's childhood friends and teammates all play for Marion. So people that their parents who are our friends. I mean, so it'll be a really fun game for everybody. I think it's healthy for both programs, and they've got a very good football team. It'll be a good matchup. I know our kids are excited. They see each other downtown, and so
Yeah.
like my Tucker's working. My son is working an internship with two guys that play on
Yeah.
Marion's football team right now downtown Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So it's a healthy matchup, exciting. It's on the 28th of August. It's Labor Day weekend, a Thursday, 6 o'clock. I think it's going to be a fun football game. I would recommend if you want to go, and I would go, and I would go and tailgate, and it's going
Yeah.
to be a great experience. But I would make sure I got my ticket. So
Yeah.
I told our fans, I want them. Let's make this a home game. It's
Yeah.
20 minutes away.
Yeah.
Let's get 5,000 people there and get jacked up and root for the Hounds, and
Yeah.
it'll 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 be it'll be fun for everybody. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting having two because you guys are the only two scholarship athletic programs
yes,
in Indianapolis, correct?
yeah,
And
yeah,
so I mean, and you said they're 20 minutes away. That is such a unique
it
thing in
is.
college football, isn't it?
Yeah, the
I
kids all
mean,
know each other, and I mean, like I said, with the access to downtown with the kids going hang out downtown, they all know each other and talk to each other, and so there's been some back and forth already, and I'm sure Twitter will light up. Our kids are going to stay out of that, but Twitter will light up. Like I said, it's a healthy thing. It's an exciting thing. It brings some excitement to because most of our games are we play. I mean, most of our games are in Illinois and Missouri, so it's so to play somebody right down the street is pretty exciting.
no, that's really cool. I mean, I can tell just from the 10-15 minutes or so that we've been talking that you're pretty jacked about
Yeah,
this about this upcoming season. So like you said, I was doing some research before we got on. You guys have won at least 9 games the last 3 seasons, 3 straight conference championships. You guys had a 10-win season last year. You guys have had a huge amount of success at UIndy. How do you balance, being proud of what you've done and what you've accomplished and winning these conference championships while also trying to pursue that same success in the playoffs?
you
What
know,
is that like?
we play in the top region. You know,
Oh
our
yeah.
last three playoff draws were against top six teams.
Hmm.
Like either one year was the sixth ranked team in the country, one year was the fifth ranked team in the country,
Yeah.
one
Yep.
and and we're like fourth and fifth seeds. I mean, it's not
Yep.
like we're the fifth seed in the region. We're playing the fifth ranked team in the country.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and so people say, well, you haven't had a lot of success in the playoffs. Well,
Gotta
we
look at
had
who you're playing.
we're
You
playing
know?
Grand Valley, and they're fourth or fifth ranked team in the nation. We're at their place. It's 7-7
Yep.
in the third quarter, and we crossed the 50, and we're going in.
Yeah.
And they got real quiet there in Allendale. They got real quiet.
Hmm.
They scored. They faked a punt at the end. Made it 24-7, and it looked like that was a much different game.
Hmm.
But our kids aren't. Got to keep them hungry. You got to keep. We're not satisfied with what with what how how it's been for us in the playoffs. But we don't like right now. We're preseason. We're going to worry about us. We're going to get together closer as a team, get better at the fundamentals, get better at supporting each other, caring about each other, loving each other, getting close, and then we'll worry about game to game. We go one game at a time. I don't look. We talk in the winter about things we want to accomplish for the season. But right now we're very focused on, hey, we're getting ready to go to camp and we're going to get better as a team. we brought in some transfers, so we gotta get close. And the strength of our team is the character and how we care about each other. I mean,
Hmm.
we're a close group, and I hire good people that are like me, that care about the kids and support the people and love people, and that's kind of how we run things. I mean, it's not all hugs and brownies, but
Yeah,
we coach them hard, but
for
they know
sure.
they're cared for, they know they're loved, and we want to, that's how we win.
Yeah,
It's kind of how I like doing things.
yeah. You mentioned that word love, and I think it's I don't want to say it's become taboo as of late, but when people think of football, they think of hard-nosed, rugged, physical,
Right,
tough sport, which it is, right? But the teams that I have the teams that I have been a part of that have been any good, I mean that word love is used. I mean the guys love each other, and loving each other means sacrificing usually what is good for yourself for the good of
right.
the betterment of the rest of the team. How do you curate that environment at UIndy?
You know, First of all, I model the behavior. I mean, I talk to the everybody. I fist bump everybody. I tell you, I don't care from our MVP quarterback to the lowest guy. You come to office, you get the same respect and love and just like I communicate with the quarterback, I'm gonna communicate with the guy that's our seventh tight end. I mean, it's
Mhm.
so you model that behavior, and then you hire guys that care about people. I don't hire guys that are tough guys or me guys. I hire guys that care about people, and it's a people business. And then just keep communicating. These are our expectations. This is why we win, and then show up. We've had games where the offense is stinking it up, and instead of the defense bitching, we're over there supporting them and high fiving them and getting them jacked up. And
Yeah.
when you do that, we pull out games and we win these games. You're like, see, this is why we win these guys. I learned a long time. I had three different coaches in college, position coaches. I played 4 years and played three different coaches. My last coach was probably the guy that was my worst technical coach. He probably he wasn't as good as the other guys. I mean, Joe Tiller was my position coach one time at
Okay.
Purdue.
That's all right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I had some good coaches, but this guy loved me and he cared about me. I knew it, so I fought my tail off for him, and I played my best season. So I learned that as a young age. Those guys know you care about them. They're going to fight for you. You don't
Oh
care
yeah.
about them.
Oh yeah.
They're going to lay down. When it gets hard, they're going to lay down and it ain't going to be pretty.
Oh
So,
yeah. No, and it's such a good feeling as a player too. Like, there's like I was blessed as a I went to the University of Montana is
okay.
where I played.
Yeah.
Uh
Winning,
yes,
culture.
absolutely. And I was blessed, having a great team around me and having great coaching staff. The relationship that I had with my offensive line coach, Coach Chad Germer, I mean, like he was going to go to bat for you. Like he was going
Right.
to like you were like if you were in his room, like you were his guys. And he was going to go to bat for you. If it was the AD or the head coach or the fan or something, like he was going to go to bat for his guys. And like that meant, like you said, that made me want to do, to play well, to perform, to fight my ass off for that guy.
Right.
That's such an important thing. And
It's
it
more
gets me fired up
important.
thinking about it.
It's more important than the X's and O's. I mean, like guys know when you care about them, and guys know when you don't care about them. I mean,
For
it's
sure.
now, and now I'm upfront and honest, and I tell when we recruit them, if you work here, I don't care how good you are, you're going to be loved. Now,
Uh-huh.
if you don't work here and you don't like to work, you're not. People won't like you, and you won't be treated well. I mean, it's our culture is we're going to outwork everybody, and we're
Yeah.
going to work to get better every day. And if you don't do that, you're not going to fit in here. I mean, this
Hmm.
is, it's not for everybody.
Hmm.
You better love football because it's going to be a lot of football. Now
Yeah.
we're a 3.2 over 3.2 team GPA. I mean, we had 24 kids graduate last year. We're doing it right academically, but you better love football because we're going to work.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, it's too much work if you don't love it.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I mean, in my opinion, that's what culture is. I was talking to the coach Peebles over at Cathedral High
yeah,
School last week, and he was saying very similar things to what you're saying today. I mean, that's what culture is. It's not a foo-foo thing that you go around saying. It's how you. I mean, it's hard to put culture in words, but it's easy to
right,
see it,
right,
right?
right.
Absolutely. And so
You see
the
it with those W's.
exactly that too. That too. It's hard to have a bad culture and still see
Yeah,
the W's in the winning column, you know. So I love that you said that because culture nowadays, because you know, I'm an aspiring, you know, coach myself. After this season, I'll be going back to Nebraska if I don't, you know, football whatever happens with football is what happens.
right.
But after football, my plan is to go back to Nebraska, where I'm from, and you know, be a high school coach in some form of action because I think that's where a lot of the really impactful growth happens. You know, in that
Right.
13 to 18 age, right? And so when I look at how people describe culture, you can tell when they don't really know what their culture is, but you can see how they interact with their team, how their team interacts within itself, and you can tell when the team has a good culture.
Yes. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, that's when you can look when when things get hard. How does the team react? How are they? What's going on? Are the coaches losing their minds? Are people on the side? Are guys supporting each other? You know, when you don't panic, great things happen. But
for
when
sure.
you don't have culture, you don't have confidence in you know in your team and your coaches, you crumble.
Mhm. Yeah,
I'm
yes,
trying to
sir.
look up our quarterback is from Nebraska.
Oh, okay. What's his name?
Is Gavin Sukup,
Kevin
and he's from Seward, Nebraska,
Stewart. Okay.
and
Yeah.
he's the MVP of our league the last 2 years.
Oh, wow.
As a freshman at the JUCO in DuPage in Chicago, they won the national championship.
Oh, wow.
So we came in and offered him, and you know we offered him a full. He said, "Well, I came here to get a full." So
There you go.
you know
It works out.
he's a pretty special player. And then our All American from last year. Um, he was a Region Three. You know, that's Region Three. You know, that's everybody. That's MIAA. That's
Yep.
CLIA. That's the
Mhm.
top. You know, he was Region Three defense. He was Region Three Defensive Player of the Year, and he just moved to Omaha. He's selling
No
medical
kidding.
devices. He's only
Okay. There you
5'10", so he wasn't going to make the NFL,
Yeah.
but but he's a great player, and yeah, so he's in Omaha right now. He says it's a neat little town. He likes it.
It is. I love them. So I'm from a just it's a suburb of Omaha called Bellevue, and that's
Okay,
where like the Offutt Air Force Base is. It's one of the I think it's the biggest Air Force base in the country. Like that's where like the president will go and
right.
everything like that. So no, Omaha's a good little town.
Yeah, no,
It's got a lot of good high school football too. If you want to tap into that too.
yeah, that gets a little out of our
I
range.
know that's a whole other
That's
topic of
that's a
conversation.
nosebleed getting out there.
I know. No kidding. I know. I had to make that drive the other day after a bye week, 9 hours.
Mm.
Ooh, maybe. All right. So before we wrap this up, I just kind of wanted to pick your brain, just about just the overall state of college football. I'm not going to ask you anything controversial or anything like that, but as a guy who's been coaching uh, for so long at the college level, I'm curious to see some of your thoughts on this. You know, so when it comes to the transfer portal, some coaches use it, you know, as their primary means of building a roster. And some coaches use it as more of a supplement to kind of fill in the holes that they see on their team. What is your philosophy on the transfer portal as a head coach?
We supplement, you know, at the Division II level because so many people are uh, they're going into the portal. We found the last couple of years there's a lot more talent around. High school kids aren't getting as recruited as much as they were,
Mhm.
so we're able to get some really good players, you know, high school players, but we have to use the portal to fill voids like when guys leave and, you know, and then guys quit. I mean, it's it's like I said, it's not for everybody. And
Yeah.
guys get here and, and they're playing for the wrong reasons. And
Yeah.
you saw it at Montana,
Oh yeah.
it's hard to fake when everybody's really
It
into
is.
it, working their
Yeah, it
tails
is.
off.
It's like you said, you got to love it. It's a lot of
Yeah.
work to not love it.
So we fill the voids, but we want to get high school kids, and you know, I think, I'm glad to see the Division I kids getting paid because I think, in this country, if you make that money, you should get paid that money. The tennis player who's 15 gets paid for that money, gets paid, the little golfer, she gets paid. But these 22-year-old men were out there playing in front of, all those people on national television not getting paid. Now, they got to get a handle on it. It's a mess.
It
I
is.
think they're
It
going in the
really
right
is.
direction. They got to get those slimy middlemen out of there. They got to get, true agents and run it like a business. And they're doing that. I just think it needs to be regulated better. They need to have a plan. They'll get it fixed. They'll get it
Yeah.
going.
Mhm.
At our level, I, we'd love to get some people to help some of our players would be, to get some money to help some of our players who definitely need it and deserve it. That would help us. And we're trying to go through that. Some of the Division IIs we're working toward that. All of us are trying to be more creative and find ways to help our players. I want to help our players. I want to get, to the kids that are poor, I want to make sure they have, money to go do something and,
For sure.
and to have a college life. And so that's, that's how we're kind of working at it on our end is we'd like to get involved in it. I like the Division II level because I think, they're getting their school paid for, and I think that's a good trade-off. I mean,
Mhm.
I think it's a good trade-off. They're earning some money and they're getting paid some, so to get their free,
Yeah.
walk out of here with, with little student loans or no student loans. That's like generational wealth nowadays. I mean,
It
that's
is really.
fantastic, so I feel good what we're doing. We're graduating our kids and, but I think we could, we're always looking to be creative and try to help our kids more because that's what it's all about. I mean, if we can find ways to help our guys, but I think the changes they made and all the money, I think it's gonna come down. It's gonna help, and I hope we can start getting our players a little bit some more money to help them out. That would be, that's what I would like. But in terms of the portal, we like high school kids, but we were going to bring, like we brought in a kid, Danny Royster from Ball State that we knew from Lawrence North here locally. And so when he came available, we went after him and it's been a good, he's a great kid and really good player. Great. He's a man. He's 21 years old. So,
Yeah.
but he's
Yeah.
a great person. And so it's, a local guy. And so those fits make sense to us,
For sure.
so
Uh,
it's nice that it's available because it does help you fill voids instead of trying to count on freshmen.
yeah. Yeah. For
So
sure. Yeah. For sure. On a similar note, how important do you believe it is to build relationships with obviously the high school players, but also the high school coaches and the schools around the area when it
yeah, no,
comes to recruiting?
that's well because they know when kids are going before anybody else does. Hey, we got a guy going to hit the portal. And, it's good. The problem with Indianapolis is it's a problem I've created. We have a mega camp where we have 1,200
Okay. Yeah.
kids go through, and we have and one day from 8 to 8, and we have 300. And it's a shameless plug for my camp, but
Hey, this is
it's a
all
mega
you, man.
camp,
Take it.
and we have over 300 coaches here. Ivies, military academies. There's some power forwards, but it's also FCS, and then they have the MAC schools, and so all these schools they got to recruit somebody, and they're
Yeah.
all coming in here, and this so they're taking more Indianapolis kids, and it's making harder. We got kids going to Colgate now. We got kids going where and the FCS is Eastern Illinois, Western Illinois,
Yeah.
Indiana State. So they come in here and it's harder and harder to get Indianapolis kids. I mean, they're saturated. The market's saturated. I mean,
Yeah.
there's bunch of good players here, but we did pretty well. We were very happy with the kids we got from Indianapolis, but it's not like the olden days where you'd have more, there'd be more kids available. They're not.
Yeah.
It's so we're have to so we have more kids on our roster from Ohio and Illinois and Nashville, Tennessee, and Kentucky.
Hmm.
And so, we'd rather have the Indiana kids, but we got to have a certain level of kid to compete nationally.
Absolutely. Hell yeah,
And
for
that's
sure.
that's so we're going to always start with Indianapolis and branch out, but it's Indianapolis and Indiana are two top. It's advantageous for us to take Indiana kids,
Hmm.
but again, you can't go, can't stretch on a kid, and all of a sudden, you
Yeah.
got him, and he's not good enough, and it's not, he ain't happy, and we're not happy. No one's happy. The
No one
parents
knows
aren't
happy.
happy. No, that's right. People don't understand that. Oh, you never recruit. I go, well, I didn't want, if he didn't fit, it's not going to be, it'd be bad for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Last thing I want to talk about before I let you go, because you've been so gracious with your time. What, how do you feel about the 2025 Indianapolis Greyhounds going into the 25 season?
I think our offense we have the best offense we've had since I've been here. We've got, our offensive line is guys, played here 3 and 4 years, are, and then they're big and they're good and they're nasty and they're what you want. I mean, it starts there. Got a quarterback's been in the MVP of the league last 2 years. Alonzo Derrick from Snyder is we got NCAA granted him another year. He's a fifth-year guy, and he's been the best receiver in the league for 2 years. And so offensively, we are really like where we're at. We'll be able to run it, we'll be able to throw it, we'll be able to, it'll be fun to watch. You guys want to come out and watch some offense? Come watch our offense. Now, defensively, we've got some older guys, inexperienced guys, some guys that haven't played. And we'll have some young guys play for us too. So we'll be, the defense is going to be playing a little catch up. I think we gave up 16 points last year. We were on top in the Division Two. And we lost a ton of seniors. So we really
Mhm.
have about four guys that started a bunch of games for us
Okay.
back. And then so we've got we got some transfers. We got some guys that we've developed in our. So it's going to be more of now they'll be athletic and they'll run around and they'll hit
Yeah,
and
for sure.
they'll be fun to watch. They're just not going to be as experienced as we've had. So it'll be a challenge. And then the kicking game is we've got one of the top kickoff returners in the country. Runs a 4.3. He's about 5'5", 140 pounds. I mean, he goes.
That works. That
So
works.
he's had every year he's had like 3 or 4 touchdowns
Okay.
returns on kickoff, and then our punt returner's back, who's one of our top receivers, and he had a heck of a year last year. So we'll have some explosive guys in the kicking game, and then the kicker, our kickoff guys back. We've got to find a punter, and we've got to find a field goal guy. So it'll be and then we recruited some kickers. So this kicking game will be solid. Should be solid like it's always been. But I'm really excited about our offense, and I think our defense can be special. It's just going to, we start out with Marion, then we go at Finley, who's going to be top 25 in the country. Ashland at home, who's going to be in the top 15, maybe top 10 in the country. Home McKendree, who's always given us fits for homecoming. And then we go at Truman, who will be a top 25 team and really good football team. So we start out, we don't have time to relax. We're going to
Yeah,
be starts with a rank, Marion will be top 10 in NAI. I mean, so we don't have time to regroup and we got to go and hit it running but I'm excited about our football team. We had our seniors over for cookout last night, and my wife said, she was like, what a bunch of great people.
it's awesome.
And when you got that, you're going to be fine. We
Yeah,
got great. I mean, we had 20 seniors over there and polite, fine, great young men. I was just so proud of our guys. They all helped and picked up and cleaned up afterwards. I was like, these are quality people. And you can, you're at Montana. You can win a lot of football games with quality people.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that was the best thing. I was really excited last night. Well, my wife's like, wow, your guys. It's like, recruited the right people.
Love to hear it. I love to hear it. Well, Coach, I can't tell you, I appreciate you sitting down with me and taking time out of your busy day as you guys finish up summer strength and conditioning. Um, just talking about your program, I'm excited to. I could feel the energy. I mean, you seem like an awesome guy as well as an awesome coach, and
Appreciate
I can't wait to see what Greyhound football looks like this year,
it.
Coach.
I appreciate it. I came out wide. I've been out to some great games. I really enjoyed the
Okay,
fact.
yeah.
I think it's a good product. We took our whole team there.
Oh, really?
We brought the whole team the first,
Oh, shoot.
yeah, we took our whole team to the first game, the opener.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I support the Freight. I've been to a couple games and I
Oh,
really like
yeah.
it. This calendars, I've been having trouble. I was out of
Yeah,
town.
it's tough. That's tough.
It's tough, but the one when I'm available, I think it's a great product. I mean, I think they're doing a great job promoting it, and it's fun to watch. And football in summer, I like it.
I know that. I mean, we're at the point now where there's football leagues going year round now,
Yeah, around the clock.
which is which is awesome. But again, Coach, thank you so much for sitting down with me and talking about you and your program. Thank you so much.
Thanks, AJ. Really enjoyed meeting you. If I can do anything for you, let me know.
Absolutely.
All right.